What is up, guys? It's Connor or Mr. Misplay here. Today we have my Shaddoll fossil deck profile. I played this for NCG's locals last Wednesday. It's very consistent, very strong. It's not obviously the best fossil build, but it's very fun for what it is. And yeah, so let's get straight into the deck profile. First off, we'll start off with the main deck fossils. So we have 3 Squamata, Foolish Burial, and a Flip Effect Pop. So it's our Man-Eater Bug plus Armageddon Knight. 3 Wendy. This special summon, with both expect special summons from the deck and face down defense. So you can use this in the Eldritch or Drytron matchup to spec Aerial. Then Aerial can be used with Super Poly or Shaddoll Fusion or any of the fusion spells to go to grave and then banish their resources, and this can sometimes be enough to stop their turn. Next, we have the 2 of Hedgehog. This is our rotor for our spells and our monsters, depending on which effect you use. Use the flip, reach your spell trap effect search, and it's your monster effect search if it's sent from deck to graveyard. Next off, we have the 1 of Aerial. Aerial's essential. It's only a 1 of because it's searchable, but it's essential for this meta with a lot of the graveyard decks around. This really comes up. Next, for our other 2 1-ofs, 1 Dragon, 1 Beast. Draw 1 in the spell trap pop. So they only play 1 because they're not as needed, but they still come up quite a bit. So that's it for the Shaddoll part of the deck. Well, part of the monsters. Next, we have our fossil cards. So we have the 3 Weathering Soldier. This is our essential fossil card. This searches all our cards with fossil fusion. Its text when it's sent to graveyard by a card effect or battle. So this can be sent with Shaddoll Fusion, Shaddoll Fusion, Foolish Burial, Miracle Rupture, pretty much any of the effects, and this will trigger to search your fossil fusion, and then you can use this to summon the level 8 fossil fusion, which helps interrupt your opponent's graveyard by stealing a card. Next, we have our Book of Moon, Tackle Crusader. If this is sent by a dent to the graveyard in general, Book of Moon or bounce a face-up spell or trap to the hand. This comes up with Zodiacs because you can set, if you open this, you can use Shaddoll Fusion to make Squamata in your opponent's turn, set the Zodiac. Or you can send this off Miracle Rupture or Shaddoll Fusion to set their Zeus to stop your field from getting nuked. So yeah, that's it for the fossil monsters in the main. Next we have our engine. I was going to play the Dogmatica engine, but I chose to play the Eldritch engine because I just wanted a light engine, and I chose to play the Eldritch one instead as I was playing a more trap heavy build. I really like this engine. It came up, it had the recursion. You don't always need it, but if you needed something to keep you going, the Eldritch spells and traps kept you going through the matches until you open the stuff you need to go. So yeah, 2 Eldritch, the Golden Lord. Next, 3 Ash Blossom, the only hand trap in the deck. You could play more, but I was okay with this. With these 2, it's a 50 card deck. I didn't want to put any more in, so I just played the 3 Ash Blossom. Next up, we have our fusion spells. So we have the 3 Shaddoll Fusion. This is the best spell in the deck for the Shaddolls. It's insane how often that comes up. Next, we have the Shaddoll Fusion. I use this in my pure fossil build as well because I use this to send the Weathering Soldier to grave. This always comes up. Because you're playing more Shaddoll targets now, this is no longer a brick because if your opponent doesn't end on an extra deck monster, you can still use the monsters in your hand. Next, we have Super Poly. This also comes up when you're using Aerial, or if your opponent's playing Darks, Lights, or an Earth, you can use the Super Poly for our Shaddoll targets in the extra deck. Next, we have the 3 Fossil Fusion. For the Fossil Engine, this is needed, obviously. This helps us get the level 8 Skull King out. And Skull King is a interruption because you can use it to steal your opponent's monsters from their graveyard. So you can use it to interrupt Drytron or Eldritch, which is really handy. Next, for our Searcher, for the fossils, we have the 1 Miracle Rupture. A 3 Miracle Rupture, I meant. This is our Rock Foolish Burial. It's really handy. I'd play this. I wouldn't play this at any other ratios. Maybe 1 Foolish Burial. I was considering Foolish Burial, but wanted to keep the deck at 50, so I didn't play it. So yeah, so that's it for the fossil cards in the main. Next we have the free Cursed Elfland. Not much to explain here. Pay 8, search. This is needed for the Eldritch engine. Next, for our traps. 2 dogmatic punishments. This sends App Cologne. App Cologne gets you into the Shaddoll traps, so you can search your Shaddoll Schism. Next we have the free Conquistador, 2 Huacero, 3 Sanguine. My standard ratio for the Eldritch Puzzle traps, I may get a 3rd Huacero, but at the moment I'm not using it as much, so I'm just playing the 2. You can play 3 and 2 Conquistador, or 3 of each, it's up to you. Lastly, we have our Shaddoll spells and traps. So I have my Shaddoll Incarnation and my Schism. My Schism didn't arrive, so I had to borrow one, and I played the one Schism. I don't have it at the moment, so I've had to proxy it here because the original video, I forgot to film half of it and uploaded it without it, so I've had to re-record. So yeah, that's it for the main deck. Schism is the insane summoning window in your and stopping your opponent from being able to special summon is so good, this format. So next up we have our links. So we have the one-off gravity controller for your Eldritch monsters. This comes up quite a bit. Really handy for getting your App Cologne or your Construct to grave to get their trigger effects in the grave. Next we have Cross Sheep. This card is essential. This card, if a card is fusion summoned, you can summon a level 4 from graveyard back to. If a card is fusion summoned under a zone it points to, you can summon back a level 4 or lower from your graveyard, and then you can use that to go into Nightmare Unicorn. Then Unicorn, if you can get one more monster on board, you go into Access Code, and then using any of the Fossil fusions or any of the Shaddoll fusions, and that's game on board there on its own. So yeah, that's it for the links. Next we have our Fossil monsters. I'm only playing 4 of these. One Skullgar, it's a Fossil fusion searcher, so it helps you link climb because you can use this. Goes to grave, banish it, search Fossil fusion again, and go into another link. One Skull Knight. I don't tend to play this one, like summon this one. This is more to send in the Dogmatic matchup, but it can be summoned, so I keep it in there. Next we have our Skull King. Skull King's our main one. It's a double attacker, and it interrupts your opponent's graveyard if they survive the turn it's summoned. And then Skull Geos, it's a big beater with which you can send off punishments to either bigger monsters, and it inflicts double piercing, so this is a very nice card to have. Next we have our Shaddolls. We have the 2 App Cologne, no more no less. This is a perfect ratio. Playing 3 in this build is too heavy. You're never going to use all 3. You'd rather have the space for the other cards, so 2 of this. 2 Winder. Winder's insane. It carries the deck so hard. I wouldn't have gotten sick without Winder. Next, 2 Construct. Construct, another Armageddon Knight for the deck, and when it's sent to graveyard, you can add the card you Armageddon Knight back, so this can search your Schism. Next, the 1 Shekinaga for the fossils in the Shaddoll variant. This is the main reason I started messing around with this, because I was playing this in the pure build. And I started messing around with this build, and it's so good. I wouldn't say it's as good as the blind second build. The blind second build is insane, but this format, it's just not the format for it. So I chose to play going first with an OTK engine. So yeah, that's it for the video, guys. If you like the video, please like and subscribe. I'll be posting every Thursday from now on after the NCG locals, because I'll be playing a new deck, and I'll be showing off what I played, my side deck, my matchups, and be doing that every Thursday, the day after the tournament. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.